Neil Young, Kevin Silva and I went to a Neil Young show, and it may be the last time I paid a lot of money for a concert ticket. I'd gotten complimentaries from 96 Rock. I was working there at the time, 2012, I want to say. It was at the Durham Performing Arts Center, and Silva and I bought $210 tickets. So front and center, good seats, better than the complimentary tickets. And I had checked on Setlist FM at the time to see if Neil Young would do Down by the River, which is 10 minute super jam groove. I love every single note of that, and I always have. Yeah, he does it, I found out. So we went and watched the show, and it was fantastic, but he did a 2.5 minute version of Down by the River. I missed that guy a lot in the last 2 years because he was off Spotify. That's where I get my songs, right? That's where I listen. And I don't listen to any new stuff. No, so don't stop recommending it to me. I've got enough in my library up here. I don't listen to new stuff. I listen to the best shit ever made, and that includes Neil Young. But he was off Spotify for a couple of years with Joni Mitchell. They went off in tandem because they were against Spotify, boycotted Spotify because Spotify let on Joe Rogan, who was telling all these lies about COVID. So they went off, but now they're back on. And I saw a quote with Neil Young saying, "Listen, I didn't have a streaming outlet, for all of my listeners, so I went back on it." Joe Rogan telling lies. What is the truth about all that COVID stuff? Who knows the real? You can't go on and say you know what's happening because you don't know, or what's the pharmaceutical companies are doing. Hell, they don't even know. But I missed them too, missed both of them. And they mean so much to me, both of them. And it's not that I love Joni Mitchell's music. I like some of it. When I was living in Central America as a teenager, and that's when your music tastes form, on La Femenina, which was the station in San Salvador where I lived, they would play Joni Mitchell, but yet the Salvadoran disc jockeys would call her Johnny Mitchell. And, you'd hear "Help Me, I Think I'm Falling," and you'd hear "Free Man in Paris," and they would always call her Johnny Mitchell. So I thought I was a dude. I thought Joni Mitchell was a guy. And I got back to the United States and I'd talk about Johnny Mitchell and I'd get laughed at. Didn't quite understand why that was. 110 degrees. It's so hot, but I love it so much. I don't ever want summer to end. And I know I'm the only one that says that out here. You jump in the pool, Poor dog. I feel bad today. I look at my sliding glass door overlooking the veranda, where I let the dog out. And I call it a veranda to make it sound like I have money, but really it's just a concrete slab with a roof. And all these paw prints are all over the sliding glass window, and I put my Mr. Clean on it, clean it off, and the dog does that. And she said, "Damn, Blade, would you let me in? I'm not going to do my business out here. It's too hot." I have to wait until, 10 o'clock when it's 93 degrees out here and say, "I'm sorry, I forgot," let her back in. And poor thing, too hot for, I forgot to put her doggy mittens on that. And I don't care, put doggy mittens on my dog. Her name is Helen. And you hear people say when they talk about their dogs, when they start to talk about their dog, I'm like, but they always have to say, "Yeah, she's a rescue. Yeah, he's a rescue." Okay. Aren't they? And I was thinking today, it's like, aren't they all? What you've done, basically, if you take a pup from its mother, you're rescuing that pup's mom. I'm sure she's happy to go. But they can't fend for themselves. Aren't they all rescues? This dog, Helen, I got from a poor Mexican woman, came up crying one day. I was at the Humane Center getting a cat, love cats too. And she came up crying, "Please," in Spanish, "would you please take this dog? I can't care for this dog. I have 4 other dogs." And I just looked at her and said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, these cool ears, So yeah. 11 years old, so that's good. And I've always said you can't be friends with girls because you can't, because there's always within lying this sexual tension, and once you dip in, you go out and you get drunk and you do it, it's all over, bona fide. A guy was talking the other day. Where was I? I was at, I don't know. I can't remember. But it was some guy who was talking. He was probably a young kid, probably 25, 30 or something. Young kid. And he was telling me his best friend in his whole life was a girl. And I was like, what? That always strikes me as weird. It does. I said, well, are you boinking her? And he's just like, no. It's like, wow, okay, it's kind of weird. You can't be best friends with girls. And people talk about friends with benefits. There's no such thing. That's BS. Friends with benefits is BS. You can call yourself friends with benefits like 2 or 3 times. But what that is basically is you have a chemistry with someone, and then you do the deal. And now you have a relationship. It's a relationship. And I promise you, after 2 or 3 times, someone's going to get pissed off. There is no friends with benefits. Can you tell me of one long-term friends with benefits relationship? No. Listen, you begin the countdown. How long am I going to last on this earth? You do. God, it's so depressing. And you start to think about things and you got to make a will and testament and all that kind of stuff. And when you do that, oof, God, that's depressing. It really is. And I was thinking, what is my legacy going to be? And I don't know what it's going to be, but I do want it to be one thing. And I wish that when I pass, everybody will think about me from time to time and they'll say, damn that guy, damn that Blade. He had a hell of a lawn. I do. Look. It's a hell of an accomplishment. That's a talent. I'm in the middle of the Sonoran Desert with dust storms everywhere, cracked bushes, sand, dirt, wind, and I've got this oasis in my back. Nobody in my subdivision has that. I'm the only one. I promise you I'm the only one. No one else can do that. And does anyone care? No. Do I care? Yeah, I'm the one that cares. In the aging app, Beavis and Butthead. I haven't thought of them in 25 years. My director, Riley, do a Beavis and Butthead aging app thing. Okay. I think their old picture shot there is in some of the episodes. Hey, big news in the town. I was at Freddy's the other day. Brand new fast food restaurant, and I love fast food so much. And I love those little crispy steak burgers, they call them. They're French fries lack, but I love their steak burgers. And I sat there in that Freddy's thinking how I got in. You have to go within 2 weeks of the brand new fast food restaurants around here, because after 2 weeks, when the regional managers leave, district managers leave after the startup is finished, the place goes downhill quick. Everybody in town knows it because this town has a prevailing who cares attitude. It's too hot, so no one cares about anything. So you get the food when it's at its best and will never be better in the first 2 weeks. And I sat there in my booth and to myself and I thought, man, this is what is great about America. Look at this. This is incredible. This is so good. And I look up and there's an old man at a booth across me. And you know how he's staring at me right in my eye. And you know what that means? He's going to say something to me or ask me a question. And he said, can you believe I paid $30 for this food? And he's there with his granddaughter, I'm thinking. I have to fight the urge to start a conversation with a complete stranger, because you know what that means. Old man. When you starting conversations up with people you don't know, and when you start grumbling about pricing, and even worse, when you make some political statement about somebody to somebody you don't know, Wow. I made a mental note that day at Freddy's. Blade, don't ever do that. No matter how much you want to. Fight, battle, don't do it. And I wrote myself a little note when I got home, just so I don't forget. Because there's that.
You know, whenever anyone explains anything to me, and they ask if I understand, I always say yes, but I never understand.
Really? You've never understood anything?
Nope. Never. I think understanding things is like overrated, you know, because here I am. I'm doing just fine, you know. Out here killing it. Yeah.